Hey, welcome back, friends. Today I want to talk about sweeping and pentatonic. Rarely do you hear about this stuff in the same sentence, but why not? It's a great way to play. It makes it particularly easy to play speedy with minimal effort. You may have heard of this as something called economy picking, which is another word for the same thing. It just simply means we're going to conserve motion here and we're not going to do new individual strokes. We're just simply going to flow in one direction. So it sounds something like this. Pretty sweet. So, if you've never played sweeping pentatonic before, here's a shape to get you started. So just to be clear, the sweeps are occurring every time you change strings. So that is a flowing pick motion going downwards. It is not coming up away from the strings like you see when you do a normal pick reattack. So if I was to play some alternate picking, it might look like this. See a little bounce there in my pick. When you sweep, we eliminate that bounce. So if this is brand new to you, I recommend going really slow. Surprise, surprise. I always recommend going slow because it's enforcing that programming of relaxation. And we always want to come from a place of relaxation and not tensing up. Tension can manifest in physical ways in our hands and make us feel actually fatigue or pain in some cases, and sometimes it can be a mental hurdle as well. So when we build in tension, we might not know if we're going to succeed or not, and that creates a little bit of a panic, or sometimes you're trying to play beyond your borders or barriers, and that can create flubbing of notes, missing of strings, and things of that nature. So as we go from low to high, be especially mindful of those trouble spots if you encounter any awkwardness, and I'm sure you will in some way, shape, or form. Maybe even just that first crossing of the strings from the 6 to the 5. Nothing wrong with just taking the scale in what I would call fragments, pieces. So even 3-4 notes can be effective in this stuff because it's really tricky to start going with the flowing motion through the strings in economy picking or sweep picking. As you're playing, be mindful if anything's jumping out too much. All the picks should sound nice and even, whether they are part of this alternate run or the swept portion. As you descend, again, be mindful of where are these weird little quirks. So that was where mine was between the second and third string primarily. For whatever reason, that felt super weird to my hands, not something that was very welcome. And that was something I took note of and then kind of turned it into an exercise like this. And then it started feeling a little bit better having spent some time with it. So let's go over a lick that's going to use this sweeping pentatonic pattern. Here's the lick slow. It's worth mentioning that you can also practice this with a legato approach. So all you're going to do is only sweep between the strings. Everything else is going to be left hand. And of course, you can combine both techniques to get more of a slurring kind of an effect. So if you're liking the way that this stuff sounds, but it's just a little bit beyond you, let's talk some troubleshooting. So one of the things that can come up for a lot of players is this is just like a monstrous kind of a stretch if you haven't attempted this stuff before. So a good way to stretch your fingers out is start with something that you can do pretty easily. So instead of making this big leap here between 8, 11, and 13. Try scaling it back a little bit and maybe just warming up with every other fret spacing. So not even doing a scale, but just something simple like this. So you could do those as triplets. Even if that's too much, you could scale it back from there or just start with something like this. Then work the pinky into it. So we'll start with something like a 1, 2, 4 pattern. Again, no scale here. It's just designed to get your fingers moving a little easier. And you can keep progressing from there. And that should get the fingers spaced and stretched a little bit more to give you some ease with this type of stuff. Now, regarding the sweep pick portion of it, if this is new or if you're just feeling like it's not flowing as well as you would like, I would recommend that you start trying an angular approach. So we're playing kind of a diagonal pattern here. I'm just going to start on fret 9 and I'm going to play backwards. So starting on fret 9 of the 3rd string, I'm going to go 9, 8, 7 up to the 1st string. And then I'm going to flip that over. So I'm going to start with 9 on the 1st string, and then I'm going to go 9, 8 on the 2nd string, 7 on the 3rd string. So I'm just crawling my way up with that pattern. It's only designed to get that right hand flowing a little bit smoother. We're just going for a uniform quality across the strings. If any notes are jumping out at you, you got to slow it down to the point where you can control it and prevent those peaks and valleys. So about the pressure in the right hand, you got to have some pressure in the right hand digging into the strings, but not a whole lot. You've really got to play with this yourself and find the right balance. But I will say this, if you're pushing too hard on the strings, it's going to disrupt your flow. So you want to have more of a finesse than a power. So what do you think so far? Is this something you're going to add to your playing? Do you like the sound of it? Does it work underneath your fingers? Are you going to go after it? Let me know in the comments below. If you can't get enough of this stuff, consider checking out some more 3-note per string pentatonics. You can check out a video I did here. And let me know what you think of all this stuff, and maybe even consider subscribing if you can't get enough of this guitar craziness. I love making it for you guys. Hope this has been fun. I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. Thanks for being here.